Welcome to Global Insiders Podcast. I am Ryan, the peripatetic one, bringing you information about opportunities relating to jobs, traveling, and any information that can elevate you to your rightful place in this thing called life. You can find more information and how-to methods on globalinsidersgroup.com. That is insiders with an S. And here is today's show. Hello, insiders. Today's episode is a continuation from the previous, and this is because Nato had mentioned that her major challenge is the same that I think every single foreigner will experience, regardless of who you are. By the way, if you're planning to move to Japan, go and listen to the previous episode and stay tuned next week's. So, what is this challenge? The challenges foreigners face in Japan goes across a wide range of things, from finding clothes to finding food or companionship. Not even like in terms of relationship, but just someone to sit and talk with. That type of companionship. However, the one thing every foreigner will have in common is the language barrier. And not to spoke about this last week too. Yes, the language barrier. This hurdle will be approached by each person in a different way, but nonetheless, regardless of who you are, it will be a hurdle. Before moving to Japan, I had always wanted to learn a foreign language. I dreamt about learning a foreign language maybe from the age of 7 or so after watching a program with kids my age learning French or speaking French rather. I did not go on to study French, however, and I did study some Spanish because I did Spanish in high school, but it was an unpleasant experience. So let's just leave it at that for now. Maybe in the future I'll decide to share more about it with you. I did, however, try to learn Spanish a couple of times on my own as an adult. When I was unemployed, I would at one point I got some CDs, but I probably only did the first 10 minutes of that CD because a major thing was missing. I just did not have the discipline to do it. And I was just more interested in watching Smallville and YouTube videos, which were more important to me at that time. So, in harsher words, I lacked discipline to study a foreign language, and I was also clueless. So, when I went to Japan, I knew how to count to maybe seven, really, because I'd always forget ku. But nonetheless, I was off to the races without being prepared. I, however, got very good advice from the person who recruited me. The recruiter said, you will become illiterate in Japan. And his words were true. Illiteracy doesn't disappear overnight, though. It takes much work and effort, but you must start somewhere. I went around in circles at first, waiting for the right book and asking people to, what is really good, which book really helped you to learn Japanese, and so forth. So definitely, I was in search of good material. And I will admit that I did hit some duds too. So I would say if you are not a manga person, don't go to manga. I mean, it's just not a good idea. But if you are that type of person, sure, you can use manga for the most part to get started. But even so, don't go too deep in using manga to learn Japanese. So I will introduce you to four materials that really helped me. I got very lucky with the first material that started to open up my mind to Japanese. It was a Pimsleur level 1 CD. And the thing with this CD is the repetition and how the speed, it goes slowly, and they try to repeat the target points, the target language. So this did help me, especially with like the greetings and so forth. You know, I did pick up some greetings and very basic things from just listening. And remember, this is for persons who are just starting out, right? So it was very helpful with introducing me to the language. But Pimsleur can be a bit expensive, so I wouldn't say it is a must-have for this reason. Okay, so if you know absolutely no Japanese, you should definitely go towards the kanas. So that is your hiragana and katakana. This will help you to get up to speed quickly. So first start with hiragana, and the perfect book for this is Let's Learn Hiragana. So the book is Let's Learn Hiragana. Once you do that, you will be able to start reading very basic things, but reading nonetheless. Okay, so yes, even though the things that you'd learn to read are simple things like the names of some places and the names of some things, you will learn how to do this if you go through this book called Let's Learn Hiragana. It feels good to start knowing a few words, believe me. So don't underestimate, learning hiragana. You will also get some vocabulary, and that is where you start to feel really sweet about and really hopeful that you will start learning Japanese. So definitely get going with that. Let's start learning hiragana. The next foot on the ladder is let's learn katakana. This is a bit more challenging, not very challenging, but just a bit more challenging because of the articles will look similar. Some of the articles will look similar, like to hiragana and also to themselves. So you will have to be a bit more careful with how you read things. The beauty about katakana, however, is the fact that you will now be able to write your name. The beauty about katakana, however, is the fact that you'll now be able to write your name. So now not only will you be able to read a little, but you'll be able to do some writing. There is a kanji book in the series, in the Let's Learn series, but I would skip this and go to what I think is the most important material for anyone that wants to learn basic Japanese. And that is Genki 1. Yes, Genki 1. Spelled Genki. Genki 1. This book is a great resource for several reasons. And the number one reason is that it really holds your hand and don't have to rush. And they even start off by using alphabet for the very first chapter. So you don't even have to use hiragana or katakana. But for the following chapters, you will use hiragana and katakana to read some of the material. The book also comes with a CD, and this CD is great for like listening and for like learning new words and vocabulary and just listening to how persons say things in certain situations. So for those reasons, I think the book is very good, and end of chapter tests, and these are very helpful too. So I'll definitely go with that. So with a good foundation in hiragana and katakana, you can read what is in this book and you will not be overwhelmed. And I think that is the key thing. You won't feel overwhelmed. And that is what can happen to you with Japanese. When learning Japanese, you can feel as if, oh man, I'll never ever do this. And I like the steps that Genki use to help us go through the beginner stage. If you're willing to learn and if you have the right attitude, you'll definitely see improvements. With, with the 3 books mentioned, Let's Learn Hiragana, Let's Learn Katakana, and Genki 1, I was able to do the JLPT test and pass. So these books are definitely good enough for you to get a good foundation to start moving forward in your Japanese ability. Whatever you do, don't overwhelm yourself. Try to get a good foundation, and if you are in Japan, there will be many opportunities online and offline to learn how to speak Japanese. The key thing is dedication and perseverance. Also, set your own goals, because it is not unusual to meet people who are quite qualified to speak the language or have the qualifications to speak Japanese, like level 3 and level 2, JLPT, but they do not communicate when they need to. And I mean, what sense does it make to have qualifications when you can't help yourself? So I'm figuring communication wasn't a major goal for them. So I'd say to you, please make communication a clear goal for yourself. All in all, set your own goals and work hard towards them, because you will have a fantastic opportunity to learn as much Japanese as you would like in Japan. So good luck in facing your language challenge, and just know that it is possible to do really well, and if you set clear goals of things that you want to accomplish. Okay, so all the best.
Thanks for listening today. I hope you are inspired. You can find more helpful and motivational material at globalinsidersgroup.com. That is, insiders with an S. You can also keep in touch at Global Insiders on Instagram. See you next time, but remember, you can be your own superhero. Bye.